Edmonton, Ireland is poised to become the world's first country to divest from fossil fuels, a move that has split the Irish community in Alberta and British Columbia. Much like the Trans Mountain Pipeline extension project that initiated a spat between the provincial governments of Alberta and British Columbia, many Ireland natives living in Canada support or disagree with the Irish government's move based on whether they live west or east of the Rockies. Ireland is set to become the first country in the world to divest entirely from fossil fuels. Larry McDougall, the Canadian press file photo, as such a small nation, to be making bold progressive political statements like that speaks great to the wider world, said John Smith, a radio producer who lives in Vancouver and moved from Ireland about 2.5 years ago. People should take note. In July, Star Metro spoke with several Irish oil patch workers in Alberta who chided their native government for divesting €318 million, about $484 million, from state-led investments in fossil fuels around the globe. Ireland's parliament passed a bill on July 12 that would make it the first country in the world to divest all investment from fossil fuels. The country is taking the unique step to meet its targets under the 2015 Paris Agreement on climate change. Article continued below. Those from the Irish community who do not work in the oil patch often brought a different viewpoint to the table. Smith said he understands why people who work in the oil patch see it as a positive, because it's brought them so much money. They don't see the damage it does to Indigenous communities, he said. I'm being presumptuous here, but I'm assuming they don't pay attention to the politics surrounding it as well. Smith first moved to Calgary, where he has several friends who work in the oil industry. In fact, one of his closest friends is a pipefitter who is looking for work outside the oil and gas sector. That particular friend, Smith said, is thinking about utilizing his skills elsewhere because he has a conscience about the environmental and ethical impact of the fossil fuel industry. However, within his circle, he would absolutely be the minority. Many who support the oil and gas industry have rose-tinted glasses on the whole topic of fossil fuels, Smith said. Anne Blake, a retired teacher who moved to British Columbia from Ireland in 1974, feels that Irish oil patch workers opposed to Ireland's decision to divest are operating out of a narrow self-interest. Article continued below. It's an intelligent, thoughtful decision, and these decisions are not taken lightly, he said of the government's action, pointing out that climate change is leading to extreme weather events around the world, including forest fires in BC and Alberta. It's a great move and I'm very proud of the Irish government, Blake said. The bill directs the state-controlled Ireland Strategic Investment Fund to sell off all its investments in oil, coal and gas. This is a moment to be celebrated, said Thomas Pringle, a member of the Dáil, the Irish Parliament, who introduced the bill in 2016. Significant change is possible where there is political will. While Ireland is nowhere near the top of the list of greenhouse gas emitters in the world, those from the Irish community who support the government's move believe divesting from fossil fuels is an important symbolic move for the country. In the grand scheme of things, it would not hugely offset emissions, Smith said. But it's nice to know you're doing what you believe to be right and setting a tone for other countries to possibly do the same. Imao Charnalia is a general assignment reporter based in Edmonton. Reach him via email, amaya.charnalia@metronews.ca.